Hi, my name is Marissa, 25 years old, recently married, and recently diagnosed with bipolar disorder. This is my story. This video is just going to be me talking about everything that I have experienced in the last week. Today is September 14th, and all of this started September 6th, technically the week before, but we're just gonna go with the 6th. I would like to warn my family and friends. First of all, this video is for you guys because I did go through a lot and I figured this would be easier than trying to send each and every single one of you a message and writing a freaking book on everything that I went through, because it really was a lot, and this is just so much easier. And secondly, I just want to warn you guys, it's going to be emotional. You may cry. It got pretty bad, so just brace yourselves. So I'm putting this at the beginning of the video because I don't want any of you to be caught by surprise, and I want you to know what you're in for. And for anybody who doesn't know me who's watching this, if you have been through anything similar, or if you need help, please feel free to reach out to me. Now that I have gone through all of this, I feel the need to help others who are going through the same thing. And I'm not saying that to give you a pity party, because you don't need one. You really don't. But if you feel like you are going through the same thing, please reach out to me. I'm not going to put my number out there because that's extremely dangerous. Please, no one ever do that. Don't do that. But feel free to follow me and message me on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Like, go ahead and find me and reach out. And if you feel like you need help and you need someone to talk to, reach out to me, or find your local crisis center just like I did, and do whatever you gotta do to reach out and get help. Don't be ashamed and don't be afraid, and use those resources. That's what they're there for. Just know that your life is more important than that split second of self-doubt. It's more important than that moment of, I can't do this anymore. September 6th, 2019, I was depressed. I was crying. The week before, the Thursday, but September 6th was a Friday. Not the day before Thursday, but the week before Thursday, that day at work, I was crying the whole time I was at work, and I came home. I couldn't even finish the cleaning. I clean houses, and I came home and I sat on my kitchen floor for an hour or so, and I was crying, and I had a big chef knife and I took it to my wrist, and I was trying to cut my wrist, and I just couldn't break the skin, and I was screaming, why won't you let me cut? Why can't I break the skin? All of these things at the top of my lungs. I don't want to live. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Just all of these things. And I felt like there was something out there. There was some purpose that I had to be here, because there was something inside me, or some power out there that wasn't letting me do this. So I went into my den and I laid down on the bed, and I cried and I cried, and I was talking, just saying everything that was going on in my life. And I just got married about 2 months ago, July 15th, and it has nothing to do with my husband. I love my husband. Our relationship is perfect, and I couldn't ask for a better husband. It really has nothing to do with him. I'm so in love with him, and you would think that love for him, sorry, give me a second. You would think that love for him would be enough to not give me these thoughts and would be enough to make me want to stay here and not want to do this to myself. But unfortunately, when you're in this mindset, you're not thinking about that. You're not thinking about the positive things that are going on in your life. The only things you're thinking about are the negatives. And the things that were going on in my head were, I'm literally losing all of my clients. I had 12 or 13 clients, currently have like 5. And I know it's because I'm mentally unstable. So I'm losing clients, which means I'm not making enough money, which means I can't pay my bills. And I'm the kind of person, I'm a fucking pessimist. And it's a problem that I've been suffering with for a shit ton of my life, unfortunately. And it just really got to me. And I'm having issues with my car. All my money's going into vet bills. I just have all these things that happen to me and I don't understand. And so that day, I just couldn't handle it. After that day, I tried to really look up, but the next day I woke up and I just felt more depressed. And every single day I woke up feeling more depressed and more depressed and more depressed. And I just didn't want to go to work, and I didn't want to answer my friends' phone calls. I didn't want to answer my best friend's phone calls. I didn't want to answer my mom's phone calls. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to go to work. I didn't want to go places with my husband. I didn't want to do anything. And September 6th, I didn't have work that day, and I had scared myself the week before. I was on the phone with my mother for a couple hours that morning. I was talking about checking myself into this place called Mountain Crest here in Fort Collins, Colorado, and putting myself on a 72-hour hold because I was scared that I was going to try to do something like that again. And I was on the phone with my mom. She was reading the reviews. We were talking about it. It wasn't a hostile phone call at all. And I remembered saying, hey, I went to Wendy's. I got my food. I said, hey, I'm going to watch a couple episodes of Friends, eat my food. I'm going to call Mountain Crest afterwards, see if I can get in, see what I got to do to start this process. I got off the phone with her, and I ate my food, and I don't know, I just started crying out of nowhere for no reason. And I went into my office and I grabbed a razor blade, and I slit my wrist 6 times. I don't know if you can see it. It's healed up pretty nicely. They gave me a lot of ointment so that way it doesn't scar or anything. And I didn't know how to kill myself by slitting my wrist, and I knew I didn't cut deep enough and I wasn't bleeding enough, and I just kept cutting because I just wanted to bleed out and I just wanted to die, and I didn't think it was enough. So if you know me, I know that I like to smoke weed and I like to take pills and I like to get fucked up. So I had some extra Klonopin laying around, and well, it took 12, and I took 12 of them about 45 minutes after I cut myself, and about 5 minutes after I took the Klonopin, I started to feel really cold throughout my entire arm. And then I started to feel really cold in my other arm and both my feet. And I was in here, this is my office, and I laid down, and as soon as I started to feel cold, I instantly felt nothing but regret. And all I could think was, I don't want to die. I don't want to do this, I want to live. And I went into the bathroom and made myself throw up the Klonopin, and then I went into my bedroom because I didn't know what else to do, and I was scared, so I don't know, I didn't want to call 911. I don't know, my husband wasn't going to be home for a couple hours from work, so I just went to bed. I know, it's like the worst thing you can do, And he came home and he didn't know what happened. He came in and saw me he thought I was taking a nap, came in, kissed me on the forehead, and went back out in the living room. And I walked out and I was stumbling and falling all over the place, and I was just very disoriented. And he asked me, "What did you take?" And I don't even remember what he said, but he immediately just grabbed my shoes and put them on and took me to the hospital. And I tried to kill myself that day. And within an hour of attempting, I regretted it. And I'm so sorry.
I spent 10 hours in the hospital that night waiting to be transferred, which blew my mind because once I got transferred to the Summit Stone Crisis Center, there was one other person there.
I spent 4 days there, and yes, it was a mental institution, and yes, I know a lot of people would say that, like, oh, I had the worst time of my life in a place like that, but honestly, it was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had, because I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about how to cope with my mental illness, and I also got properly diagnosed. So let me give you a little backstory on the last 8 years of my life. I'm gonna try to make this quick because I know you guys have your own lives and you really don't want to sit here and listen to me talk for a half hour about my experience. But
after going through all this and being in there, like, I met some wonderful people, and hearing other people's stories, like, it helps to be able to relate to someone else and hearing someone else's story. So I'm mainly making this video to share with my family and friends just so they can know what I went through, but I'm also making this video because if you're going through something like this, or if you've gone through something like this, it might help to know someone else's story, because you're not alone. There are others out there who have gone through something similar. So I first got diagnosed when I was 17 with depression, and I'm just going to sum this all up. The reason why I always got diagnosed with depression and anxiety was because I only went in to get put on medication when I was having a depressive episode. So when I went to the crisis center for 4 days, I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder by a licensed psychiatrist. I have my first appointment, like actual psychiatry session with him later this month, so I'll be able to know if I'm 1, 2, or the other cyclo, whatever it is. There's another one, I don't know what it is. But I am bipolar. But the reason why it always got written off as depression was because I always went in during my depressive episodes. And whenever I was in mania, I didn't think anything was wrong because I was upbeat, I was energetic, I was doing things. Like, I was having fun. I was, like, cleaning the crap out of my house. I was fucking excessive spending. Like, I was doing all these things that I thought were normal, and I didn't know that that wasn't normal. And now I know that that's not normal. And now I realize, like, after being diagnosed, like, the last 8 years of my life makes so much sense, because if you are bipolar or you understand bipolar disorder, you know there's a difference between mania, like your manic episode, the depressive episode, and then the normal state in between. So right now, I'm in a normal state. And, like, I don't know what triggers a manic episode, and I can't tell when I'm in a manic episode yet because I just got diagnosed. So, you know, I don't really know when I'm going into one or anything. But thinking back, like, I know the exact times when I was in a manic episode and when I was normal. Like, I just know, like, everything makes sense. All these fights I had with friends, all these issues I had with my parents, I lost so many friends. So many friends, like, I did so many things and lost so many people because of my mental illness, and I didn't know. Anyways, I only went in to get put on medication and therapy and stuff when I was having a depressive episode, so that's why it always got written off as depression. So they didn't realize that I was bipolar. So now that I know that I'm bipolar, I can take the steps that I need. So now I'm set up with a therapist, and separately a psychiatrist. And I got put on 2 new medications that I take at night, which I haven't, my mood is stabilized, like they're mood stabilizers, but I just started them, so I can't tell a difference. But the only thing I'm noticing is, like, first thing in the morning, the first, like, hour or two, like, I stumble over my words, kind of like whenever you're trying to word something that you don't know exactly how to word it, like a question or a sentence, when you're, like, trying not to, like, offend somebody or trying not to, like, make it come out wrong, and you just, like, stumble over your words because you don't know how to word it. That's how I am, like, the first hour or two of the morning. So that's the only thing I'm noticing of my medication, but I read all the side effects, and, like, it's not, like, a negative thing, and it's not even on there, so it's not anything to be, like, alerted by. But yeah, so my first night in there was Saturday night. I had to wait in the hospital for like 10 hours to get transferred. I had a really bad anxiety attack, and I was honestly ashamed of my behavior. I was screaming, I was crying, it was not me. I got put on a hold for 72 hours, which is why I was in there for so long. The next day, I saw a psychiatrist who told me I was well, first of all, the first day I was in there was one other person. The second day I was in there were 6 other people besides myself, and, or maybe 6 people, or maybe 6 people total. Anyways, the psychiatrist, the next day I saw him, he told me I was the highest risk patient there, and that was when I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and I got put on new medication, and it all kind of made sense why I attempted suicide, because I got put on a medication that, first of all, I was on venlafaxine, and if you know anything about bipolar disorder, venlafaxine, otherwise known as Effexor, is not something that you should be put on. It made all of my symptoms 1,000 times worse in my depressive episode that I was in, and caused my suicidal ideations, and pretty much made me attempt. That's not me. Through all of the depressive episodes I've ever had, I have never, ever in my life thought of killing myself. That was a first for me, ever. That's never been me before. And I know the story has been a little long. I'm sorry, guys. It's really been a whole new experience for me. So I'm going to try to wrap this up quickly by saying the rest of the days that I was in there were 4 groups a day that I had to attend. It was mandatory. The first day I was in there, I did not go to any. I was crying and in a depressive episode, and nobody forced me to do anything because of the state I was in. I was very unstable. I isolated myself from everybody. I started opening up towards the end of the second day. By the third day, I was talking to all the other people. I made a couple friends. My time in there was very eye-opening, and I'm glad that I went. I left there with some knowledge of breathing techniques and something called the 5 senses technique to calm me down when I'm having an anxiety attack, which is a symptom that has been affecting me a lot. I also have to deal with social anxiety on a daily basis that has disrupted a lot of my life and keeps me from doing a lot of shit. Just going forward, I'm really just trying to take it one step at a time, take everything day by day. I feel like a totally different person. I feel better. I don't feel like I'm in mania right now. I don't feel like I'm in a depressive episode. I feel a bit of normalcy. I haven't been able to go back to work because I had some car troubles. But I'm going to be able to go back to work Tuesday and get back to my normal routine. I'm starting to feel like myself again, and it feels nice. And I'm hoping that this medication is right for me, and I'm hoping that the therapist that I start seeing and the psychiatrist that I start seeing can really help me. Also, I'm going to start doing some EMDR with my therapist. I also have complex PTSD. I went through a lot of stuff growing up that I am still suffering from, and I don't know how to cope with it, and I don't even know how to talk about a lot of it, because when I do, it gives me anxiety, and I can just, like, even right now, like, I feel my chest starting to flutter, just, like, bringing it up. So I'm going to drop that, but yeah, I'm going to start doing EMDR with my therapist so I can work through those issues. I will always be a supporter of mental health awareness, and I know that I kind of went into, like, super mega details about how I attempted suicide, but this is not meant as a how to kill yourself 101. I really had no idea how to do it. I was just, winging it. I don't even know if that could have even done it if I hadn't even made myself throw up. I don't know if that would have even happened or if I would have just hurt myself really badly. So please don't take it that way. Please don't try to turn this around and make it seem like, oh, she just gave everybody some leverage on how to kill themselves, whatever. Like, no, don't take it that way. This is just me sharing my experience because, like, not everybody goes through this, but there are a lot of people out there who do. And whenever you're in that state of mind, you feel so alone. And reaching out to friends and family is one thing, but when you're at that point and your friends and family have not been through anything like that, it's easy for people to say, like, oh, keep going, oh, keep trying, like, things will get better. But if they haven't been through it, it's just hard to hear, and it's hard to listen to that, and it's hard, it's hard, and I know it's hard, and I've I've been there, and if you're going through some shit right now and you feel like the whole world is against you, and you feel alone, and you feel like ending it, just know your life is worth it. I wish that I would not have tried. I wish that I would have checked into the Mountain Crest place. I mean, I'm glad that I went to the Crisis Center at Summit Stone because they really were helpful, and I really loved the staff there, and I loved the people that I met, and I'm glad that I got connected to the resources that I did, and I got set up with the help that I did. But I wish that I didn't get that far, you know? You may think that killing yourself is going to end your pain, but what about the people who care about you? What about everybody that's in your life? You don't think about it in that moment. You really don't. But once you're gone, how do you think the people in your family and the friends in your life are going to feel? How do you think they're going to respond or react to you killing yourself? Do you think they might kill themselves? What if they're going through some shit? What if you killing yourself pushes them over the edge and makes them kill themselves? What if you start a whole line of people killing themselves? Suicide, I heard recently that suicide can be like contagious. Something that, one person kills themselves and then it affects you so badly that you end up killing yourself. And then someone else close to you, it affects them so badly that they kill themselves, and so on and so forth. Do you want your best friend to be that next person? Do you want your sister to be that next person? Or your mom? Or your dad? Or your brother? I don't think you do. There is a way out. There is help. There are resources. There are people you can reach out to. And if your friends and family haven't been through the ringer, and if you think that reaching out to those kind of people are not the people you can reach out to, please, fucking please, message me. I'm here. I'll talk to you. I'll listen to you. Whatever you gotta say, I will help you. And there are resources right in your town, any town, whatever town that you live in, whatever state you live in. There are people right around the corner willing to help you. All you have to do is ask.